Now, Neil Young still remains to make some great music till this day. If you don't believe me, watch my top 10 songs of his from the last 10 years. However, in my opinion, the last all-out Neil Young classic album is Psychedelic Pill from 2012, obviously with Crazy Horse, notably with Crazy Horse as opposed to and Crazy Horse. I mean, fuck knows what the difference is. Sometimes I think I'm sussed out why he puts with on some albums and on others, but then he throws a curveball which destroys that theory. So fuck it, I have no idea. So, early 2012, Neil put the horse back together to give us Americana, an album of classic American folk songs, but given the rough, heavy, Crazy Horse treatment. Some of the tracks worked well, others not so well. However, a few months later, they gave us the brilliant Psychedelic Pill and the last Crazy Horse album with what I consider the classic lineup. Billy Ralph Potts on second guitar and because Neil kicking ass on Old Black at the front. Now, if you're a CD collector, this is a double album, but if you're a vinyl collector, this is a quadruple album. So I admit it's not for the faint-hearted, but it is utterly worth it. Luckily, Neil eases you gently with the opening track, Drifting Back, that is only a mere 27 minutes. I believe the first vinyl is dedicated solely to this one song. Not the first side, the first whole vinyl. However, despite the sheer length and the fact that Neil uses some of the lyrics to remind you he just put a book out, I consider this an enjoyable listen. It is 27 full minutes of music, none of that extended, tedious, feedbacky stuff which he sometimes annoys us with at the end of songs. I will get to that later. I just love the way the guitar kind of weaves in and out of the song, and his solos just captivate you. If you're willing to give up 27 minutes, this is a highly enjoyable listen. Or if you're not, it's also fun to have on in the background, just dip in and out of what Neil plays a superb guitar all the way through. The other two long boys on this album is Ramada In and Walk Like a Giant. Ramada In is 17 minutes long and maybe the greatest song Neil has written this side of the millennium. Unusually for later day Neil, the lyrics are surprisingly coherent and it tells a story about this elderly couple going through a tough time with their marriage and going back to the Ramada Inn where they first met to try and renew their love. And between those verses are the most beautiful, expressive solo. It's through Neil's guitar work in this song that you feel he has an optimism for this couple and knows they're gonna make it. This is just a beautiful, beautiful song. The other long boy is the penultimate track, the 16-minute Walk Like a Giant. Okay, after you played it, you may decide it's 12 minutes, as I admit the last 4 minutes are a bit of a write-off. Neil decided to make giant stomping noises with feedback. But up until the 12-minute mark, the song is amazing. Just got the classic Neil crazy whole sound, crunchy guitars and exciting and extended solos. Lyrically, I think the song's about trying to continue to be an activist while suffering brain fog. Neil had an aneurysm in about 2005 and I've read it left him saying he feels foggy sometimes and his thoughts are always clear. He sings about the great fire coming to burn down all his ideas and how he tries to hold on to his thinking and remembers how it usually is, which I think is a reference to brain fog and how sometimes his thoughts are no longer clear. Let's just put down the 4-minute noise feedback ending to an episode of brain fog. And there's even more great songs too, like the more modest 8-minute She's Always Dancing, which sounds like a modern day, like a hurricane, with its slightly disco beat and absolutely soaring guitar work. I also love the vocal harmonies on this. That's another thing I love about Crazy Horse, that moments where Neil, Billy and Ralph harmonize. And there's the song Frosted Roll, which is a slightly softer piece and a tribute to his mate Bob Dylan, all about how Neil felt when he first heard Like a Rolling Stone. This is another great track. Hell, they're all great on here, perhaps with the exception of For the Love of Man, the track before Walk Like a Giant. This is just kind of too soft. It's a bit of a hymn, but just sounds quite boring. Sorry, Neil, this one doesn't really work. And there's the title track, a kind of fun, shorter, psychedelic number. Sounds very 60s. I really like it. I also like the way the first version has a very heavy phaser on it, which makes it sound kinda weird but fun, and as a kind of bonus track at the end of the album, he put the raw mix of the same performance of the song. It's kinda nice to compare the two, and definitely nice to have something more fun after that kind of boring ending to the epic Walk Like a Giant. So yeah, this is the last Crazy Horse album with Poncho on guitar. The last that really drove home the narrative of four guys being there to walk. I guess on the 3 albums with Neil's Lofgren, Neil's could play in a lot more different styles, so they were much more varied, but didn't quite capture the same energy of the horse walking out, which this album does perfectly, and that's why I consider it the last Neil Young classic album. Thank you.